Welcoming the Camp Springs Civic Association President, Miss Monique Taylor.
Okay, but I know you want everybody to see. Oh, hello, everyone. I'm gonna say good evening to Camp Springs and friends. First, giving thanks to Pastor Burris and the Central Baptist Church of Camp Springs family for hosting us. Please give them a round of applause and just thank God that they allowed us to be there. We do not take it for granted, and we're forever grateful for the partnership with this church. Now, I want to wish all mothers a happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. I want y'all to sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. It is well deserved. Now we have a full agenda, so without further ado, let's get started. And the first thing that we're gonna do today is that we have many of them are not out tonight for different reasons, but there are 12 elders that are past and present board members. And you know, they've been doing the work, so we want to recognize them. Several have served as president, and or they've been on the have been in another capacity as an executive officer, and they have chaired different committees. They had a mind to work to advance our community. Now we need others to step up to do some work to continue to advance our community. Y'all know it's a lot of work. We need y'all to come on out and do some work. If everyone do a little bit, I know we say this all the time, but we get everyone to do a little bit. It's not a strain for anyone. So with that being said, let's, because of time, we're gonna recognize our elders. Come on, Mr. Delonte, our vice president. Okay. He's going to, read it?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
All right, so we're gonna give the elders in our community certificates. And the certificate says, a certificate of appreciation. Camp Springs Civic Association, I want to thank you for your hard work, commitment, and dedication through the years. We appreciate you. We're grateful for your support. We hereby present the first one to Valerie Fitzgerald.
Mr. Fitzgerald, come on up.
Come on up to here. Mr. We appreciate your hard work.
Come on. Mr. Fitzgerald. It's back. Come on up. Let's stay on up here. So we gave you the certificate. Oh my God. What we did was also, we really appreciate all the work that you've done. And we have a Camp Springs mug. Wow. Stay up here. And because I was telling you that there many are not here tonight. Like we have first let's do Mr. Porter. Go to Mr. Porter. Frank Porter. Get Mr. Porter.
Okay, we're gonna call it Mr. Frank Porter.
But just read off all the names. It's Miss Tina didn't, isn't it? Because Miss Tina, Miss Beverly's running late. She's in transit.
When I call the names.
Just call the names and then we'll.
Carolyn Flynn.
She couldn't make it out tonight.
Okay. Tina Green.
Miss Betty Cohart.
Betty Cohart. Wilma Marie McCoy.
Miss Wilma Marie, husband passed, so. Yes, her husband passed and his service was yesterday, so that's why she's not here. I did. Yes, and Miss Betty is right now, she's residing in Ohio.
Claudia Poole,
Come on, Miss Poole, come on up here.
Austin Cruz,
Come on up here, my love.
James Randolph,
Here he come, here he come. Come on up here. There go my love.
Thomas Reed,
Mr. Reed isn't able to come out. Mr. Reed is like 94 years old. Yes, and he told me that he goes to bed at 7 p.m. now.
Miss Beverly Taylor,
Miss Beth, still in France.
she's in transit.
Yeah.
Leon Turner,
His niece, valedictorian, so he's at that celebration.
Arlene Wilson,
No, it was not.
so.
We're gonna take a picture.
Before we take a picture, I just want to give my thanks for being a part of this community. It shows you that we can do this ourselves, and one day we will get certificates put in our service. I want to thank you guys for leading the way, that we are just picking it up. It's really an honor to do this job.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I don't see my chops. So we're gonna keep moving forward. Is the Honorable Donnell Turner here? Honorable Donnell Turner is here? Okay. Well, Mr. Deshaun Anderson from Fort Restaurant. This is one of our newer restaurants in the community. They are some young entrepreneur. They attended Maryland Eastern Shore. They are born and bred in the Prince George's County. And we had Mr. Deshaun to represent the restaurant. The restaurant is in Camp Springs. He bought some samples of their food for you all to taste tonight. So make sure you get a taste of their food. And they're located, what's the actual address?
7097 Allentown.
Yes, 7097 Allentown Road. Over there, y'all know where the subway and stuff like that? They're right over there. Come on, Mr. Anderson, give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Thank you for that. It is a pleasure to be able to speak amongst you all. Like Ms. Taylor said, I am one of 3 business owners at Fork Catering and Eatery. Just to tell you a little bit about ourselves, we started out as a full-service catering company roughly 8 to 10 years ago. Myself is my other partners are Derek Grimes and Ashay Pratt. Unfortunately, they're still at the restaurant right now working. But we've met on the college campus of University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And we pretty much just shared a love and a passion for food and entertaining. So once we graduated, we decided to start a catering company. Roughly about 3 years ago, we had many of our clients telling us we needed to open a storefront or what have you. Well, the opportunity presented itself, and September 2021, we were able to purchase the brick and mortar on Allentown Road, and we are open now. Again, we're a full service catering company. And when I say full service catering company, we not only prepare foods for you all, but we would do service, and we also do rentals, equipment rentals and linen rentals, should you need that. Oh yes, so our restaurant is open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Thursday through Saturday. Now, I know that's a short period of time to be open. We are also still working other jobs, but you know, we're in that transition phase right now. But should you all feel like you want some fried fish or some fried catfish or some rasta pasta or
Stuffed lobster.
stuffed lobster, crab egg rolls. I mean, our menu is very vast, and we also do specials every week that allows us to, you know, play around in the kitchen. I don't want to say play around in the kitchen, but have fun in the kitchen, and experiment with some, you know, new recipes or what have you. Just to give you an example, this week on our specials menu, we have oyster Rockefeller, that's smoked. So it gives you a sense of what our aesthetic is, and we could like to call our food New Southern or traditional with the twist. And before I depart from you all, I'll tell you that our most popular dish is the collard green dip. And now if you had spinach dip, just think of that, but with collard greens, and we serve it with wonton chips. So if you're in the area, feel free to stop by. Let me know that you were here so I can take care of you, okay? Any questions, feel free to ask.
So what did you bring us to say?
Oh, yeah, awesome. So I brought you actually some collard greens and our sweet potato casserole. The sweet potato casserole is one of our popular side dishes, so I just wanted to give you something, you know, just something quick, really quick, and give you a taste of what we got going on, okay? Yes.
The address again, please.
7097 Allentown Road. Yes. Yeah. So,
Repeat the question.
yes, so she was asking, how did we come up with I'm Big My Back? So that is one of our specials this week, and it is a blackened salmon salad. We just like to play around with what's going on, what's hip, yeah. And I mean, obviously, you know, it got your attention. So we like those attention grabbers. Yeah. I seen another hand. Yes, ma'am.
I bought your catfish dinner today for the first time. It's the mac and cheese, collard greens, cornbread, delicious, very fresh.
Thank you. I seen your hand first. Yes. It's the first restaurant we've opened. Yes, and it's carry out, mind you, but yeah, soon to be dining. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have plant-based options?
Yes.
Repeat the
So
question.
she asked if we have plant-based options. So we do have vegetarian and vegan options. We have something on our menu called Cajun vegan boil, which is pretty much, you've had a seafood boil before, but it's all vegetables with vegan sausage, and it's topped with a Cajun oil. And we also do cauliflower wings. And currently right now on our specials menu, we're doing zucchini fries. Yes, ma'am. We don't necessarily have gluten. I'm sorry. She was asking if we have any gluten-free options. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily have gluten-free options, but we have, you know, some of our items, we don't necessarily look for gluten-free, right? But some of our items happen to be gluten-free, like some of our pastas. Did I see another hand? No? Okay. Well, thank you. And I hopefully I'll see some of your faces in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, y'all stop by and y'all support these young people. Okay? Because you're supporting the community. So, one of my favorite corporals who's over there, he's so engaged in what he's doing. I don't think he hears me. So from District 4, we're gonna have Corporal Miller. Now, I reached out to District 5, tried to get someone out because, you know, our beloved Corporal Comac has retired. They did tell me they're short-handed, but I asked for someone to come out to give you a report for those who are on the District 5 side. I will continue to reach out so we can know what's going on in our area overall. So without further ado, here is Corporal Miller. Give him a round. Okay, he gonna get District 5 too, but you can't get detail, right? Okay, no detail. He can't give you detail on District 5, but he can probably. No.
Good evening, Corporal Bill, Prince George County Police, Option Hill Station. What I'm about to give you is the stats for the District 4 area, especially this area. We call it.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, we call this King sector. So far to date, from the first of the year to this date, we've had 6 homicides in this entire area. Robberies, 75 robberies.
In this.
No, I'll give you the whole entire area. Camp Springs, the numbers that you get, most of our robberies are, because they consider Beach and Stamp Road, Camp Springs. Most of them are commercial robberies, so that's where a lot of stuff over here. For residential robberies, I didn't see any for Camp Springs, so you pretty much good. What I'm giving you is our entire area.
Yeah, okay, all in District 4.
Commercial robberies 19, majority of them are the area where I just told you. Stamp Road, Beach Road, St. Barbara's Road, the car dealerships. Residential, the whole entire area, so far, 0.
Amen.
Carjackings, 32. Just had one, actually, that's what took me so long, on Willow Road. Other than that, pretty much everything else is 0. Any questions? Oh, y'all want District 5 too?
If you could give District 5, but while he's looking at, I do want to say this. You're right, while you're looking at that. Be very careful at the ATM machines. We know that in Oxon Hill, they're putting those little scammers on there. Skimmers, whatever. Yeah, those things. They put them on there, and you know, they give you information. So if you're banking in Oxon Hill, that's the problem, but they're moving around. So be on the lookout. You know, they say shake it, but they're moving them. Okay?
It's just not that you want 7-Elevens too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But I was, okay.
Yes,
Yeah, but
it's not just the banks. We got a couple of 2 7-Elevens in this area. So, I mean, I don't know how they get it in front of the curb, but they get it on this. For the Clinton area, year to date, they've had 1 homicide in there, in that area. Robberies, 31 robberies. Assaults, 21. Burglaries, 33 burglaries. 22 of them was commercial, 10 was residential. And 1 was like a shed or dwelling, in the backyard. That's it, I can pull up right now for front search. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
where were the homicide and,
All over, I mean, I don't mean to say like, you're talking about the last one I was on. I'm sorry, the last one I was on, probably like 28th Avenue.
So mostly Temple Hills area?
Temple Hills, Eastover, around that area, they had one like 2 weeks ago over Argentine.
In other words, not in the Kent Springs.
Not in Kent Springs.
Well, if you live in Westchester State on that side of Allentown Road, where?
One more.
Walton, is that? That's District 5.
Division 5.
I mean, yeah, Division. Yeah, that's Division 5. On the other side of Allentown Road. Yes. Yes. Any other questions? Thank you, appreciate you. So, I'm just asking again, did the Honorable Donnell Turner come in? He didn't come in? Okay. When? We're gonna get some reports from our legislators. They were working hard up there in Annapolis for us, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Does, did Senator Muse send a representative?
Senator Muse hasn't arrived yet, but he should be on the.
Oh, okay, he's representing, y'all know the traffic thing.
Right.
So
He
we,
is really-
okay, so,
And I
we-
do have his intercession letters, I'll put them back there.
Oh, okay.
Everybody to-
but we fluid, so we, when he come in, we allow him. It's time. What about our delegate Veronica Turner?
I want to go after Senator Muse.
Okay,
Okay, so if you don't mind.
No problem.
Last.
what about Miss Carol Colbert on behalf of Delegate Chris?
I think Delegate would try to like.
Come on. My delegate, Jamila Woods, y'all give her a round of applause and she come up here. Mwah. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everyone this evening?
Great, great.
Well, can y'all tell yourselves, cause I can't hear y'all. All right, I'm Delegate Jamila Woods and delegate for this 26th legislative district. For those of you who are not sure of the areas that we cover in the 26th district, we cover parts of Clinton 20735, Fort Washington 20744, Oxon Hill 20745, parts of Suitland 20746, Temple Hill / Camp Springs 20748, and Akakeek 20601. I'm really excited to report that this 446th session of the Maryland General Assembly, which concluded at midnight, we call it Sine Die, Monday, April the 8th, which meant going into Tuesday, April the 9th. This was an extremely busy session for us in Annapolis. And I think we got a lot done with a lot of constraint. I told people they bamboozled me because last year, you know, I went through and I thought I got through all of this stuff last year. It's gonna be easy, right? I know what's going on now. And when we started this session, we started off running. And I'm still trying to catch up to me, okay? I just want you to know I'm trying to catch up to myself. But I was really excited to remain on the Health and Government Operations Committee, otherwise known as HGO. And I also serve in the Insurance and Pharmaceuticals and the Health, Occupations and Long-Term Care Subcommittee. So when you hear me talk about a lot of my work, you'll hear me talk about doing a lot of work that directly relates to healthcare. During this past legislative session, I served as primary sponsor for 9 bills. 5 of those bills passed. I'm excited to say they passed in the House and the Senate. Unanimously with both Republicans and Democrats. That's a big thing. So I'm excited about that. The one bill that I did not sponsor the one bill that I sponsored that was not directly related to healthcare was directly personal. Directly related to me, it's a bill called HB 404, Public Safety Welfare Checks Requirements, and it's named Gabriel's Law after my deceased son. This law requires law enforcement agencies or fire rescue or emergency medical services entities to conduct a welfare check without reasonable delay. I put this bill request in when I was very surprised when my son encountered a medical emergency back in 2021. And I, as his mother, and as a great historian of, you know, knowing what's going on with him, was unable to reach him. I knew that he had some serious medical conditions, and when I couldn't reach him that morning, 7:32 in the morning, I proceeded to reach out to friends. I called his job, I called his apartment complex. His job told me he was a no-show, no-call. Well, I know my child, he was a supervisor on his job, he was never a no-show, no-call. I couldn't reach anyone. My son knows when I reach out to him, because I know he has a medical condition, that he responds. Mom, I'll call you later. We all know how they, you know, shoot you a text or whatever, and I didn't hear from him. And I went through all of these procedures trying to get some help for my son, trying to get a welfare check, and quite to my surprise, and you all need to know this. Some of you may know it because I've learned it after the fact, because the media covered it, and it came as a huge shock to me. My son lived in Richmond, Virginia. I live in Prince George's County, Maryland. I did not know that Richmond and other states have laws that say if you request a welfare check in their state, they have to talk to a law officer from your state in order to go into a welfare check. Well, that came as a huge surprise to me. The most frustrating part of the huge surprise was that Richmond was very ready, willing, and able to do a welfare check of my son. Prince George's County never gave him permission. I started the process at 7:32 in the morning. By 10:32, I'm calling all over, calling Prince George's County, trying to get some support. And unbeknownst to me, I talked to them and asked me for, and I don't mean to be elaborate, but I think you all should know this because after I went through this experience, I started getting calls in my office about other people, and it was a shock to me. Long story short, Prince George's County never gave Richmond permission to do a welfare check. And by the time I was able to get my son's ex-girlfriend, because she lived in Richmond, the law says if you don't live in that state, that you have to get law enforcement officers from your state to give them permission. In other words, say you're not a person that's just always calling and, you know what I mean, crazy and trying to, you know, stalk or whatever. Problem is it never happened on our end, and that's the problem. By the time they knocked my son's door down at 6:17 p.m., I mentioned I started at 7:32 in the morning. He was already deceased. He had a seizure, fell, hit his head. We don't know how long because they didn't tell me when the coroner came out how long he had been deceased. Wow. And so I put this bill in place that says, wait a minute, where you live should not determine whether or not your emergency is their priority. And it's a shame because, as I said, Richmond was very happy to do the welfare check. It was that Prince George's County never, ever responded to give them permission. Some of you may have seen it, they covered this on News 4. But we got this bill passed, HB 404, and like I said, it was a shock to me later when people called my office and said that happened to me. I called and asked for a welfare check with my mother. I called and asked for a welfare check with my husband. And I don't understand when you tell a person somebody is having a life-threatening emergency, how they determine that it's not a priority. To me, that's no different than any other emergency that anybody has, whether it's here, there, if it was in Africa. If I'm telling you, I know this person has a life-threatening emergency, I feel like it is the obligation of our public safety officials to go and to check. And I don't even have an issue with them saying, you know, they need to get, because I do know, because of the line of work that I'm in, that there are people that are stalking, there are people that try to bother, but if you find out that a person is a legitimate person, that it should be treated as a life-threatening emergency. They said to me, as their reasoning for not doing it was that, you know, well, we may be on an emergency involving a fatality. Well, guess what? Mine became a fatality. And so an emergency is an emergency. So thank you for hearing me, because like I said, that one was personal. That one was, and Senator Muse did cross-file this bill also in the Senate, so it passed in the House and the Senate, and it will be signed into law next Thursday by the governor. And on that note, also on June 15th, there's going to be a walk across the Wilson Bridge. NPM is one of the sponsors. We're going to have a walk across the Wilson Bridge because that is one, you have an opportunity, those of you who know the Wilson Bridge, to walk from Prince George's County through DC to Virginia. And so I thought that's the most appropriate place to have this walk so that we know that when you cross state lines, y'all realize Virginia is right across the street. That I shouldn't have to go through hours, right? And actually never had that welfare check done. So if any of you care to join me, I'm happy to share the information with you. It's sponsored by an organization called Eminence, but it is celebrating Gabriel's Law, and prayerfully, my son's death will lead to other people not having to have that horrendous experience with a loved one, family member, or friends.
What date is that again?
That's on Saturday, June the 15th. It's going to be in the morning. I'm not quite sure what time, but I'm happy to send that information out to you when I get it. We'll supply, you know, there'll be refreshments and all those kind of things and a celebratory thing. But again, the goal is, and just to let you know, the last time I walked the Wilson Bridge was actually the Saturday before my son's death. And I've never crossed it again because, can I just be honest with you? Delegate preacher and everything else, I was afraid if I walked across it, I might have jumped off of it. Can we just be honest? Because the pain and the agony of that experience was unbelievable. So as I said, I serve in the Health and Government Operations Committee, and so all of the rest of the bills that I passed this year was specifically related to healthcare. HB 1078 is the Maryland Medical Assistance Program, remote ultrasound procedures and remote fetal non-stress tests. Maryland has a very high rate of challenges with maternal health care, with mothers who, you know, we have people of color, far too many, mothers who are not making it when they're giving birth. That is an issue in Maryland. A lot of people who have low income, mothers who have stresses as it relates to their pregnancies. Remote fetal non-stress tests are tests that can be done in the mother's home. My son Gabriel, I was a high-risk pregnancy with him. I was on bed rest for the most of that pregnancy. And just going out of the house was a struggle for me. I actually had to get people to help me, get me bathed, get me dressed, and get me. Well, now you don't have to do that. Now, this law says that they can come to you. Did y'all know you can do a sonogram using an iPhone or an iPad? You can hook the thing up, you know, the necessary contraction. Now, you don't do it. Somebody has to come to your home and do it, but the law says now people can do that and your insurance must cover it. Also, there's a remote belt that the mother can wear. You have to have the appointment with the doctor, so it's not like you just walking around with this belt on. But in the comfort of your own home or wherever, you know, maybe it's a mother that works and she can't go, or maybe it's a mother that has other children she's caring for, so getting to the doctors is a challenge. She has to set up the appointment because the doctor actually has to read it live. So she's having a live appointment with the doctor, she just doesn't have to leave the comfort of her own home. Again, I was able to get that bill passed and the insurance will be paying for it. Another bill, HB 1105, Advanced Practice Registered Nurses Certification Requirement and Exceptions. This expedites the path for nursing students to be certified as advanced practice registered nurses, beginning their clinical rotations while enrolled in accredited graduate programs. Now, we all know that people who are studying to be doctors have the opportunity to practice, right? They can write prescriptions, they can even go in and do surgeries. You know, people who are studying to be psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers can actually do the work under an accredited and licensed person. Well, in Maryland, nurses could not do that. This bill allows, when I say nurses, nursing students could not do that. This bill allows nursing students to do that also. Another bill, HB 1293, Maryland Department of Health Public Education Campaign on Prostate Lung and Breast Cancer Protections. These are other issues that are challenges in the state of Maryland, the number of people who are dealing with prostate, lung, and breast cancer. And this bill allows for us to get the information out, because unfortunately, people don't know some of the things that you can do ahead of time to prevent yourself from being a casualty, to prevent yourself from irreparable damage from these types of cancers. So that is another bill that I was able to pass. And finally, HB 1337, Health Insurance Appeals and Grievance Process Reporting Requirements. This bill says, listen. Oh, thank you. This bill says, listen, has anybody in here beside me ever had a doctor prescribe a medication or a service and your insurance company did not give the prior authorization? And then you go back, some people go back and appeal it and have to appeal it over and over and over again. And we call a clean application. A clean application means you submitted the proper information. Your doctor's office submitted the proper information to your insurance company, but the insurance company denied it. And they may have denied it over and over again. And one of the things that I found out, and the reason that I wanted to make sure this bill was passed, was that some people again received irreparable harm because of how long it took to get the authorization. Some people died, right? Can we just be honest? And so my bill says here's the problem. If this was a clean application and you did not need further information from the client or from the doctor's office, and you denied it, and after 6 or 7 times you approved it, you got to tell me why you didn't approve it from the first time. And so this is saying to insurance companies, we're not going to continue to allow you to not give pre-authorizations and really not have any legitimate reason for doing so. Y'all know the reason, right? What's the reason? Say it now, what's the reason? And so this bill says, no, we're gonna hold you accountable as insurance companies. You can't tell me after 7 times that you approved something and nothing changed, right? So that was my 5th bill. And again, all 5 of those bills are gonna be signed into law next Thursday on the 16th in Annapolis. I also co-sponsored a great deal of other bills. Some of them that stand out for me is HB 97, which says starting January 1st, 2025, baby food manufacturers must test for heavy metals. It was a shock to me to learn how much baby food is being sold in our stores that has heavy metals. Does anyone in here beside me also realize we have the highest account of children with autism and other issues than we've ever had before in our lives? And so this bill passed and was a bill that I was very happy to co-sponsor. Another bill, HB 360, and I think Senator, you said you're gonna talk about the budget.
You go ahead, what you gonna do, and I just won't do it.
I was kind of throw it over to you. I was trying to throw it because I didn't want to take up much more time.
You know I love you, right?
You see what I'm saying? She's trying to say, you ain't got to go home, but you got to go about it. So
Look, I'm under
I'm
authority.
gonna let Senator Hughes, if that's okay, I'll have you when you come up and talk about the budget. I continue to serve as the executive secretary for the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, the largest Black caucus in the United States. Also served on the Women's Caucus. I'm a member of the Prince George's County House delegation, and serve as the vice chair for the Law Enforcement Subcommittee for Prince George's County. Upcoming events that I want to talk about, we are planning to do a 26th district night, right?
Yep.
Senator Delegate Turner, so we want to make sure you get the information. We have started our 26th district dialogue series. If you do not have my or the other legislators' email addresses, we can send you all this information. We do the 26th district dialogue series every 3 months. Also, my legislative scholarship is still available. So if you know high school seniors going to school in the state of Maryland who live in District 26 and are interested, I've never had a person who met our requirements, and our requirements aren't crazy, who we did not give money to. So I want to encourage you. Again, I have the information. I'll put it on the back table for the 26th district dialogue series. Thank you for your time, and thank you for allowing me to be up here this long.
I know.
Thank you. You're not doing any questions,
Okay. Senator Hughes.
Good job, good job, good job.
Senator Hughes, can you do this in 15 minutes?
I can do it in 6.
All right now, here we go. So our presenter some, and many of you know, this is our Senator, C. Anthony Hughes. Welcome him, please.
Good evening. And it's good to be, it's always good to be with my friends here, and it's always good to be in Camp Springs Church. I love coming here to preach, and I see members from that church who are here now. It's a pleasure to be with you and to have this time just to share a few things with you. I am appreciative of our delegates, all 3 of them. I'm appreciative of their hard work. I'm appreciative of how we work together as a team, and working together as a team. For example, Fort Washington Hospital asked that we would go to Annapolis and get them $5 million. And we got together and we decided we're gonna bring $10 million, and then it went up to another $100 million. I think that's teamwork, right? That's teamwork. And that's what we are here to do. I did bring some of the reports here with me that I can hand out, and I'll leave it on the table for you to do that. But this section was particularly in the 22 years I've been there and the years I've been in the Senate, I've never seen a session like this. I've never seen a session that it was just twice the number of bills that we had to pass. But we did focus on you. We focused on our 26th district, the best district in the state of Maryland. We focused on that. Number one, I'll just name a few bills and then run through some of the money that we were able to bring back. Everybody voted so far? Are you going to vote, right?
Yeah.
Everybody vote. Juvenile justice and expungement was a big issue. I served on the Judicial Proceedings Committee. I served as the Vice Chair of the Rules Committee. I served on the Executive Nominations Committee. Of every nomination of everybody who was in any position in the state of Maryland. They have to come through the few of us so that we're able to know that, number one, we have a good minority representation, and number two, we don't embarrass the state of Maryland by putting the wrong people in. And so that was very important. It is important that we hold all of our children accountable. It's important that we don't try to end their lives with what they do, but it's also important that we send a message. We will no longer be a revolving door. You're not going to carjack and go in the morning and come out in the afternoon. You'll be held accountable, and your parents will be held accountable. Your parents will be held accountable. They will have to put the money around to make sure that we have the infrastructure to provide parental support, so that parents who felt like they were out there on their own were not going to be on their own, but they would know that we have counselors, we have support, and for those who need a couple of days, we got jail. But we're going to do what we need to do in order to bring this crime level down. And we work with everyone, particularly the governor that we work with all of his appointees who came through. That was the only question that we asked them. I want people either in their homes, and these kids in their homes. I want them off the streets, or I want them in jail. That's the bottom line, that teach a lesson. And then to make sure that they had no record, We passed the bill this year that I authored to make sure that when it came down to expungement, I was appalled to have so many people who are deacons in the church, right, coming to me and saying, you know, I got arrested 45 years ago for marijuana. My record has been scarred. I was never able to go to college. I was never able to get a scholarship. There are places today in apartments where I can't live. On and on it went. And they said, we just want to know that we are citizens like everyone else. I went to work and got that bill passed. And on the first day the second day it was signed into law, I got pictures from all over of people who were wrapped around buildings just to say, I'm going to get my record cleared for the first time. And I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70 years old. And I'm still listed as a felon because I was arrested when I was 17 years old. It's ridiculous. And what it says is that I don't care what anyone said, we still have a two-tiered system. We still have a black and a white system that in terms of the justice system, it's still working. And every time we put one thing in line to fix it, they come back with something else to do it all over again, but not under my watch. Because I have, of all people, I know that God has given me more than a first chance. He's given me a second and sometimes 100 in a day. But thank God that he gives us those chances because we're able to, and it was out of that I've been pushing that for these few years. We did come through with a budget. Most people don't know that there's only one requirement of being a senator and a delegate. And that one requirement is balance the budget. Now, we do a lot of other things, of course, but that's the main thing. And so we were able to balance the budget. I'll name off just a few. Medicaid funding, 14 billion for that, 9 billion for the Maryland pre-K school. We need those 100 billion because I'm glad we're getting the FBI bill. And you all the work thank you. I'm glad we're getting that FBI building, 39 million for community college construction programs, 488 for child care, then 10 billion for the advanced healthcare for Washington Center, 8.9 billion for Bowie State University, 3.1 for Raceway. They need to race or go home. But we are trying to do everything that we can to look at whether we're going to sell that to a private developer, or will it stay there as is and we put as little money in it as possible. Let's see, in terms of our own district, 150,000 for the Mushroom Learning Center and Farm of Clinton for the construction of a new learning center, 100,000 for low power radio education and diversity initiatives $125,000 for the Oxon Hill Recreation Swim Club, $125,000 for the My Own Community space, where they did a good job. Health and wellness is very important. Now, you know that in many ways, we are a health desert when it comes to food. First of all, I just want a couple of nice restaurants. Just give me a couple of those. I will take all of y'all out. Everybody going out on me. If we just get a one restaurant, you know, that's not a Denny's. You bring another Denny's in, but anyway. But we're working on that completely. But in terms of healthcare, I had a massive heart attack 14 months ago. And they said I would never go home. And it was devastating to have my wife look me in the face and say, honey, you're never going home. Now I know Jesus. Amen. I'm telling you, if I ain't never called on him before, God, I was Jesus in I put him in that I didn't have me too, but he came out. And I thought about all our children. In schools, we have absolutely unhealthy lunches. We have no place in our community because it costs so much for healthy food. And so we passed the first bill. I was going to call it the Brandy Calhoun bill because my chief of staff pushed me on that for 2 years. That will put money aside for us to examine all of our lunches and everything that we do in school. It will make sure that we have proper vegetables and gardens and farms available throughout the county. It put a lot of money aside for those who are poor, who can't afford it, because I want to make sure that we all live to be at least 100. And believe it or not, the bill failed the first year. And I'm like, no, stupid. How you up there? I said, I'll tell you what, I'll buy you a McDonald's burger if y'all ask my money. But we got it passed. So we're on our way to be the first county in the state to become a health, food, wellness center. The first one is very important to have to put that together, and our county executive helped us in a major way. Just 2 or 3 more, then I'm finished. I think our history is important. In a day when everybody's trying to stand out Black history, you can't stand out Black history. And I don't care what they do. And so we're putting money together for $56 million to build the first in our county of this nature African American monument. And it's not just African American, it's going to be across the board, because in our county, just in our county, we had many Blacks and whites and all who had worked together to pull our history together. So this will be a monument, first of all, of the history of Prince George's County, in history with Blacks and white and Latinos and Asian and everybody at a place where we can come and watch that and bring our children there as well. So improving accountability, our schools, yes, you don't have to tell me about our schools, but we are working hard. 8 schools that we have designated for, I believe, this year or over this cycle, and 7 of them are in North County, 1 of them is in South County. That will never happen again.
Amen.
That will never, ever happen again.
Amen.
And when we put a school someplace, we're going to make sure that the citizens say, we want it. So I think all of those are important. I will stop with what else? Our seniors are very important. We put money aside for our seniors. A lot of seniors who can't make it from month to month. We're putting money aside to make sure that that rent is paid and the places where they are is safe. So we worked hard, and I thank you very much. Hopefully, all of you all. But then I start thinking, that would be enough. Thank you all for your support. You are supporting us and been a part of us for a long time. And for that, I thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you did. Okay. Thank you so much. Delegate Turner.
Yeah, okay.
Can you do it in 10?
Huh?
Can you do it in 10?
Three. Look, this is
Cause I'm-
short and sweet.
Okay, I'm putting you on the timer.
I hope so. I hope so.
You are.
Okay, now you put
Okay.
your glasses
Get a
on,
little-
you know I can't see y'all.
Okay. So she put the glasses on, she got the glasses on, start the
Glasses
timer.
on. Good evening, Camp Springs. Oh, right.
Ready? Say it again. Good evening, Camp Springs.
Good evening.
It is so good to be back home. You know, I'm from Camp Springs. And I have lived here a long, long time. And I want to thank again, President, Ms.
Taylor.
Taylor. I know who you are. I want to thank you again for inviting me. I appreciate that. And second, I want to thank Senator Muse for doing a great job. Okay, great job in giving all of the updates of this 90-day session. I wanted him to go first because I'm going to do something different. And I want to talk about the process. I want everybody in this room to know what we do in 90 days, in the 90-day session. In Annapolis, there are 7 standing committees, which are Economic Matters, which I am on, Health and Government, which Delegate Bullets is on, Appropriation, Transportation, Rules and Executive Nomination, Judiciary, Health and Government, also, and Ways and Means. Now, also Economic Matters, Delegate Chris Valderrama and myself are on the same committee. So I wanted to come here today just to do a little something different, just to let y'all know how the process is. So you'll understand what in the world that we do. Let me tell you, there is a process in which you create a bill. First, it has to pass through the committee. Once the bill passes out of the committee, it can then come to the floor to be voted on 3 times. Just want to let you know. Once it is voted on, it is then sent back to the Senate, okay, with Senator Muse, okay, and then the bill will be approved, and then we send it back again, and then we send it to the full capacity to the governor, which the governor has to sign. But let me tell you something. If that bill don't get through all of those systems I just talked about 3 times, it has to start all over again. We got to just, it fails, and then it's not gonna come up until next January. So any bills that goes on that didn't get through this time around, you got to put it back in and make sure that the bill passes. And all you have to do is come bring us. I want y'all to know something. It's very simple. If you have a grand idea, just bring it to any of the delegates, your senators, and we just put that together, and guess what? We don't even have to work. Our drafters draft that bill up, and then they bring it and send it back to us, and then we can say yay or nay if we want that bill. But if y'all have a bill and any ideas, and you want us to put it in Annapolis, you got to let us know now. Start in the summer, y'all. Start in the summer. Do you know how many bills we put in? I know we put in over close to 2,000 to 3,000. Wait a minute, they say 3,000 bills. Everybody wants their bill passed, everybody. Okay, but if we start early, like in this summer, if you have your idea and you want us to do something, I mean, that's even down to bond bills. If you want us to put in a bond bill, if you want us to put in a scholarship, if you have an idea, just bring us to us during the summer and let us first get our bill put in. And so we could be one of the first ones to come up and get it in one of the standing committees that I talked about. They will put it in. It is so important that you do that. I want you to know, as for myself, Delegate Turner, I am a proud member of Economic Matters. I have 2 subcommittees that I am on, which is banking, which is important, commercial protection and commercial law, property and casualty insurance. In addition, I serve as the protocol chair. I take care of all of my interns and all of my protocol chairs. And I call them, guess what, I gave them a new name, my sunshines. They come down, my pagers, what I'm talking about, my darling pagers from high school. And they come as seniors and they work in Annapolis, and we make sure that they learn everything they can while they're up there. So if you have anybody in high school or want to go into politics, would you please tell them, join the pages and Delegate Turner, take it from there and make sure that they get what they want. I'm also chair of the Prince George's County Local Development Council, which is the LDC. Okay, I am a member of the Black Caucus. I am a member of the Women's Caucus. I am a member of the Veterans Caucus. And I'm a member of the Latino Caucus. I've been a busy lady, and I have put in also a lot of bills also. Like I told you, each bill has to go from one side to the next side. So as all 62 bills that I have put in, 27 of them have gone to the other side and passed the Senate and going up to the governor. But I want y'all to know, it is so important about what y'all do. And Camp Springs, all you gotta do, since I'm your baby, I'm your love of your life, I'm your member.
There you go.
Who's been here all these years, 18 years I've been here. I want you to know, you bring me something, I'm gonna make sure we get through. Because you know what? Camp Springs is very important to me. I love y'all. Madam Chair, guess what? I'm gonna get on this mic.
All right.
You know what? I want you to know, I know how the system goes. If she want me to get on this mic, I'm going. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Turner. Now we have Ms. Carol Colbert. She is speaking on behalf of Delegate Valderrama. Let's give her a round of applause. Can you do it in 10? Oh, she said she could do it in 5.
Okay, 3.
All right now. All right there.
Name that 2.
Good evening. On behalf of Delegate Valderrama, I want to express her disappointment for not being able to be here tonight. I think this is the first one she said she's missed, and sometimes you just have conflicts. So anyway, this is working out just as I thought. I had everybody speak before me, so I only have to speak about one bill. And I was also thinking how appropriate it was that Reverend Dr. Muse, Senator, and Delegate Reverend Woods would give you the good news, and I have to give you some bad news. Delegate Valderrama has worked with the 210 Speed Safety Committee for 9 years and has introduced legislation each of those 9 years. A little closer?
Yes.
And so one of the things I was going to say is that this year she introduced a bill that would increase the fines on 210. The fines for a speed camera violation have been the same for the last 18 years. It's $40 flat fee regardless of how fast you're going, I mean, it's so contrary to our government, which is the crime, then the fine should fit the crime, and we don't do that when it comes to speeding on 210 unless it's in Charles County. Now, when Charles County gives someone a ticket for speeding, it's a police issued ticket, and the speed goes, I mean, the amount goes from $40 to $530. So what we're trying to do is to make parity between what happens with a police issued ticket and one with a speed camera ticket. So instead of just being $40, it would range from 40 to 530. That did not pass this year, and I know there was a great deal of upsetness and disappointment, and Chris was chief among the disappointed. We're going to work again with a new chair of the Environment and Transportation Committee. He's a very thoughtful man, and this was his first session. I think a lot of people said, well, the governor got his speed camera bill, passed, and the difference is Chris is a great legislator and well respected. She isn't the governor. So we're going to go at it again next year, and what was so wonderful this year is that there were so many people from constituents that came to testify. And I think we've got a really good start and a good basis to begin next year. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to add to that. I mean, it's really shameful because they're talking people at 147 miles going down to 10. And they're getting a $40 ticket.
Right.
Now, y'all know that just, what they say, make it make sense.
Right.
So they need to make that make sense. Thank you so much, Ms. Coleman. With that being said, oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's not out of time. It's not been in speaking and out of time. Yeah, it's told us that the state. Say, state was.
Yeah, it's, okay, we'll talk about that. Now, Mr. Hamilton, you ready for me? Oh, okay, we have a question, yes.
This is a question for either the delegates or senator. Do you all publish monthly or quarterly newsletter of some sort that you can sign up to receive? Or?
They said yes.
Great.
Actually, you should have gotten one. If you didn't get one, make sure that as your address, we brought them with us, but we also want to mail them out to you. And so if you didn't get one from us, we'll get your address again and make sure that you get.
Email.
No, we mail because everyone in that email, so we mail them out in this session, and we will do that on all the other issues. Yes.
And I do.
So I'll let the people online, the question was about newsletter from our delegation.
Yeah, and I do have an electronic newsletter that comes out monthly also.
Okay.
So you can.
So we have monthly from Delegate Woods, we have,
Monthly vote.
everyone has monthly newsletter. So if you want to receive, now those who are here, they're gonna pass them out to you all. But if you want to receive the monthly newsletter, you have to go on there.
Call the office.
Call the office.
Information.
Okay, but go online, because I'm talking to some of the people who are
Right.
online.
Right, that's right.
You need to go online, look up these delegates. You all heard from our delegates and our senator. And then from there, you should be able to click something so you can sign up for their newsletter. Okay? Yes, ma'am. With Ms. Turner.
You were saying you could add a law. Why would I reach you? Because I had some suggestions.
The question was, Delegate Turner indicated that if we had a law, well, a bill, it starts as a bill. And if you have an idea, and she said, get it to her, again,
How would I get his order?
Okay.
Go online and
I'm passing my end of session letter. I got my telephone number on.
Okay,
She's
Hold on.
passing it around.
okay.
Done that?
Give you
Okay, done
the
that.
email address to the office and the phone number. Are you ready? Delegate Turner's phone number in her office is 301-858.
Wait a minute, get your phone out.
Cause you know.
Which one? Ready?
Ready?
Not yet.
Ready?
301-858-3212. Her email address is veronica.turner@house.state.md.us. And when we finish, I'll give you the senators, Delegate Woods and Delegate Valderrama.
Mine's on the newsletter.
It's on the newsletter.
I can give mine now. If you don't.
Oh, sure. Okay, are you sending this to them also, Ms. Carroll? Ms. Carroll, the information, are you, okay. Say it slow, cause she sending it to the people online. Delegate Woods, telephone, 301-858-3544. Email Jamila, JAMILA.woods@house.state.md.us.
And Delegate Valderrama's is 301-858-3210.
She typed it. Say it a little slow.
301-858-3210. And her email address is Chris, KRIS .Valderrama, and I'll spell that out, VALDERRAMA. The same thing at house.state.md.us. Thanks.
Thank you. We're gonna get a presentation from WSSC. After WSSC, we do have a surprise guest here. We have our councilman here, Ed Burrows III. So after they do their presentation, and you all have a question, he'll be the next. And we do want to recognize Ms. Beverly Taylor. She just got back in town. She was out of town. So she is one of our elders that we recognize. Can you come up real quick before they get started? Come up here. Come up here. Come up here. You know, we appreciate you.
Appreciate I have this here.
Yes, ma'am. Camp Spring Civic Association, thank you for your hard work, commitment, and dedication through the years. We appreciate you and are grateful for your support. We hereby present to A. Beverly Taylor a certificate of appreciation. Ms. Baird. Ms. Baird. Oh, okay. Calm down.
It's raining like crazy in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I know it
Okay.
is.
So we're now gonna turn it over to Mr. Hamilton and Ms. Diaz. Okay, they're gonna do the presentation with WSSC. We thank you for coming out. Did we get out? Oh.
We're giving up on that computer. We're not.
Okay.
They're not gonna be able to put it on the screen. There were some technical problems connecting to the church, projector. So, but they're gonna give you a presentation, okay? So I turn it over to somebody, okay? Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are you?
Great.
We're excited to be here and thank you for inviting us to Camp Springs Civic Association. We're really happy to be here. I am Iyad Mizian. I am the Chief Engineer of WSSC Water. And as many of you know, WSSC Water is a utility that provides your drinking water and treats the sewer water and recycles it and releases it safely to the streams around this area. So one of the things that we do as a chief engineer, the engineering department within WSSC, is to invest in the infrastructure of the water and wastewater. We want to make sure, just like your house, you have to replace the roof, the windows, the doors, to make sure that it's always top shape. We want to make sure that our infrastructure is top shape. So we're constantly investing millions of dollars, taking, all the rates that you're paying and recycling it in the infrastructure to make sure you get reliable water and reliable sewer service. So we're investing in projects in Prince George's County and Montgomery County and upgrading the system. Tonight, we're going to talk about two projects, one on Allentown Road and the other one on Old Branch Avenue. And those two projects are large water mains that are going to provide better service and better water pressure to the area. Of course, with construction comes disruption. And unfortunately, we really try our best to minimize the disruption. We control our contractors to make sure that we plan ahead of time. We have public outreach meetings to let the community know that this project is coming to your neighborhood. We work with the neighbors. Dan, who is the section lead for our construction section, he's going to talk tonight about all the efforts that we do with the neighbors, with the residents in the area and the commercial entities in the area to make sure that the impact of construction is a minimum. However, there's inevitable disruptions that happen. We were hoping to share some photos. Let's see. Oh, wow. So we're going to be able to share some photos with you. So good job. So Nadir is our section manager for the pipeline construction division. And he did the miracle tonight of getting us the wire that is connecting us, so we can share the presentation with you. With that, I will turn it to that, and thank you very much again for inviting us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming up.
Good evening, folks. I'm gonna trust that you can all hear me, and I want to apologize sincerely for the disruption. I was here maybe 45 minutes early. Thought that we had everything we would need to connect to this projector and failed. Turns out we're trying to use a cable that's meant for data and not video. And miraculously, you're walked in with the cable that I think we need to show you the PowerPoint that I intended to present. So in any case, my name is Dan Hamilton. Again, I apologize for disrupting the beginning of your meeting. Senator Muse, I heard you mention the word accountability. Accountability is one of WSSC's core values. I stand here before you tonight to be accountable for the project work that we have going on Allentown Road and Old Branch Avenue. These are two separate and distinct projects. I manage the construction office here in the southern part of Prince George's County. Our office is right on Temple Hills Road. I drive through these neighborhoods almost every day. I realize it's incredibly disruptive. We've received a lot of complaints. We wanted to provide a project status update for those two projects specifically. After this meeting is over, if it's not too late, I'll be glad to meet anybody out front, give you a business card, answer any questions I can answer specifically, and or share my phone number and email, and I can hopefully answer later. So in any case, let me just jump to it. Easton's got the slides up, so I'm not going to pay attention to what he's doing and try to do my own here. Our intention was to introduce the project team. I'm going to just kind of skip over that because I know we're short on time, but we have Yusan Basnet. He's the design manager for both of the two projects. Nadir Salam, he's the division manager, my supervisor for the pipeline construction group. We also have Steve Billingsley in the back of the room next to the white pillar there. Steve is our customer advocate for this area. He is always available to assist you navigating our bureaucracy. We have roughly 1,600 employees, and sometimes I don't know who to talk to. Steve's the guy that can find the right person if I can't. The company that's working on Allentown Road right now is a private contractor. They're actually employee owned. Their name is Garney Construction, and I'm going to get to the details on that in a minute. I'm sure you have some questions. We also have the Old Branch Avenue project straight through the light here, all the way down to Woodyard Road, Woodyard Piscataway Road. Again, that's being managed through my office, and the supervisor that works under me, Tim Allen, who signed that project, is not here tonight. Hugh Son, again, is the design project manager, and Steve Billingsley, again, is still our customer advocate. If you ever need help, again, he's a great one to contact. Just to give you a quick overview on WSSC Water, we have roughly 1.9 million customers. We serve all of Montgomery and Prince George's County. I believe that's about 1,000 square miles. Last I knew, I think we're the 8th largest water and wastewater utility in the country. We have 3 drinking water reservoirs, 2 water filtration plants, 1 on the Potomac River, 1 on the Patuxent River, and we have 6 water resource recovery facilities. That's a fancy word for what we used to call a wastewater treatment plant, but that really is what they do. They are recovering the resource and returning it back to the environment. We also have a spotless record in 106 years that we've been in business. We've never had a drinking water quality violation. I hate to mention that because I'm afraid you're not going to be able to keep up that streak, but it is something that we're very proud of. I should also point out that we have 42,000 fire hydrants out there all around Montgomery and Prince George's County that are there to provide fire protection for all of you. Basically, it's part of what you pay for with your water bill. It actually keeps your homeowner's insurance down, because if you don't know this, when you buy your house, they ask you how far you are from a fire hydrant. That's how they calculate your insurance rates related to fires, if you're close to a fire hydrant. So that's another service we provide. In any case, to talk specifically about those 2 projects, both the Allentown Road project and the Old Branch Avenue project. The Allentown Road project, basically the scope of work includes replacing about 2 miles of 4-inch to 24-inch diameter water main and installing 1.6 miles of brand new 42-inch water main. We're doing all of that in the same road right of way that, of course, you're trying to drive through. Individual water service lines to homes and commercial businesses are also being replaced up to the property line. The Old Branch Avenue project, which again, from the other side of the light here, down south of the church, straight through Woodyard to Piscataway, the scope of work includes 3 miles of 30-inch diameter water transmission main, which provides redundancy and improves reliability to the southern Prince George's County area. I'm sure most of you are familiar with how heavily Brandywine is growing. There's a new storage tank down there at the intersection of 301 and Route 5. All that is related to us building up the infrastructure associated with that development and providing redundancy to all of you. Prior to WSSC Water construction activities in these areas, both of these 2 roadways were in somewhat poor condition, as you may well know, if you've lived here a long time. They're certainly not in any better condition now while we're doing this work. We do not take any pleasure in disrupting your daily commute. I heard somebody mention speed cameras, and could we get them on Allentown Road? I've got 40 people out on that job site every day or every night. They're going to be out there tonight when you leave. I worry to death about their safety. People drive insanely on these roads. That is not helping us. It's making it really difficult to make progress, and I know what you want. We want us done so that we can resurface the road. We are hopeful that we will be done with the Allentown Road project by this November. In fact, we're probably going to begin paving within the next month to 6 weeks. But unfortunately, with projects like this, we have to install the entire water line and then pressure test it to make sure it's not going to leak, and then put it in service. And on Allentown Road, we had to do that with a large diameter 42-inch pipe, get that in service, and then take the old water main out of service, install a 12-inch water main next to it. That provides water to all of your homes and businesses. So until we get that done, we can't resurface the road, because if we repave the road, then we have a leak. We're digging up a brand new road surface. Nobody wants that. So that's where we are on Allentown. That's where we are on an Old Branch. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not really following the slides very well here, Pisan. We had some maps to show you here. We've got these maps that we brought up to the front of the room. I realize you can't see those from sitting out there. We'll bring them into the back. And again, if anybody has any questions, please come see me afterward. I'll be glad to go over them with you. What else? So as of March of 2022, beginning of April, the Allentown Road project is about 66% complete. I'm sorry, 77% complete. And as of March or the beginning of April, the Old Branch Avenue project is about 60% complete. Both of these are on time in terms of the original amount of time we anticipated it would take to do this work. The Allentown Road project is supposed to be done by November. We do expect that to happen, and with any luck, we will have repaved the entire road surface prior to this winter. The Old Branch Avenue project is moving a little bit slower. It's also on time, but there was actually hazardous soil that we were aware of before we started to do this pipe work. That requires extra health and safety precautions. That project is not scheduled to be completed until the summer of 2025. The construction method in general, if I haven't already jumped past the slide, you can see up here, it's an open cut trench type excavation. We use trenchless technologies to do a lot of the work that we have on our sewer pipes with large diameter water mains like this. The only way to put these in the ground is to actually cut the asphalt, dig a trench, and install the pipe. There will be a couple of spots along Old Branch Avenue where you're going to see what we do call a jack and bore, where basically we're going to dig a pit at one end, maybe get across a creek or a stormwater pipe. We'll dig a pit at the other end, and we're going to lower a giant drill bit down underground and drill a hole and jack the pipe into place. So that also involves some disruption. It means either steel plates in the road. None of these things can happen over the 6 or 8 hours that we have during every day to do the permitted work. So it means, again, slower progress. Traffic management, I'm sure you all have seen and probably will see when you leave tonight if you're traveling Allentown Road. We have night work happening now. There is obviously a large effort to remind you that there is road work ahead and traffic direction associated with variable message boards, cones, individuals with traffic paddles and two-way radios, those types of things, directing the traffic disruption. All of that is done by design and permitted through Prince George's County. It's something that we take very seriously. Again, the people that are holding those traffic paddles in their hands have everybody's life basically under their purview. They're directing the traffic, they're protecting those workers. We beg you, please be patient with us. What else? Signage and restoration, or signage. This is a typical project sign in the photo up here on your right, I guess my left. That contains the WSFC project number, which would mean nothing to you, a long number like PT 6289-817. Believe it or not, I've got it memorized, but that's the project number for the Allentown Road project. It also has contact information for the contract manager, one of the people on my staff who specifically manages that job. He has a team of inspectors out on that work. His phone number, including his cell phone number, is on that sign. There's also our 24-hour emergency number, 301-206-4002. If you dial that number 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, you will reach a human being. If there are 20,000 people out of water because we have a large diameter water main break somewhere, you might sit on hold for a little while. I don't want to pretend, but you will get a human being. That is an emergency number. What else? Road restoration. Again, we expect to finish on Allentown Road by November. We expect to finish on Old Branch Avenue by roughly next summer. Again, both of these projects are currently on time. We're doing everything we can to coordinate with all of you. In fact, there are 7 outreach meetings, some of which related to our capital improvement program, that either have happened in the last 2 weeks or will be happening in the next 3 or 4 weeks at various locations around the county. And you will see similar staff giving similar presentations about our capital improvement program, as well as some of the local construction projects. Again, we just want to thank you for your time and remind you that we take this very seriously. Drinking water is a necessity for human life. We realize that power and internet and all of those other things are extremely important. You can't live for 3 days without drinking water, and you certainly aren't going to be happy if you flush your toilet and you have a problem. That is why we're doing this work. As I said, I do not take any pleasure in the destruction or the disruption that is happening in your neighborhoods, and we are doing everything we can to get done as quickly as we possibly can and address complaints as we go. In the case of Allentown Road, we are having to coordinate with the Prince George's County Department of Public Works because there are storm drain repairs that need to happen on that road before we repave. Sorry, Mike. You don't want us repaving the road and then the county digging it up to fix the storm drains. So as soon as we're done with the water line, and in fact, within the next 3 or 4 weeks, they're going to start down by the McDonald's on Temple Hills Road and start storm drain work. Once they've done, we're going to pave as much as we can, as quickly as we can. So I think that pretty much covers everything. There is some information here about emergency contact, help with bills, things like that. I'm sure that we will email this presentation to Ms. Taylor and anybody else that would like it. You can get it in detail. Again, I apologize for the disruption when we got here today, as the confusion is caused to have people messing around with the computer while you're trying to have your meeting. So I appreciate everyone's patience. I will wait there back by the door with Steve. If you have a question or want a business card, please come see me. If I can't answer your question, I will find somebody that I can. That can. Oh, I see somebody with a hand up.
The road work, I know we needed, like I said, over here. But I'd like to ask you, is there anything that you can do with the intersection of, Wrigley Road and Allentown Road? Say that you travel that a lot, and I understand, I live right by there.
Yes, ma'am. So to be honest,
Wait a minute, Mr. Hamilton, I gotta repeat it.
My question is there something better that you can put down instead of the asphalt? Because my car, I'm afraid that I'm gonna have to get it in the line and stuff. Can you put like a stealth lane or, I mean, I don't know construction, but that's just my guess. Is there a better thing that you can put down since you have to pull it up every night? Thank you.
so the question was about the condition of Allentown Road at the intersection of Brinkley. That is definitely an area that we're aware is particularly poor. There are some issues with the grade in the roadway there before we started. And I can tell you this, I just, within the last 48 hours, had a conversation with our contractor about what could be done there and what it's gonna cost to just temporarily fix it. There's a bus pad in the intersection there that's made of concrete. We can't just tear that out and pave over it without making accommodations for what's supposed to be there when we're done. I'd be glad to speak to you after the meeting and give you a little bit more detail, but I expect you'll see some activity there within the next 2 weeks that will make it much better. It will not be a permanent replacement. Again, if I didn't make it clear, when we are done with both of these jobs, we will pave the road from curb to curb everywhere we have been. But we have to coordinate with the other utilities to make sure the other repairs are done first.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I would just like to know for the record that when we had a WSSC person come out and present on this, last week, the timeline was everything was supposed to be completed by August. Now, there's a new timeline, there was another timeline in September, and now there's a timeline in November. So I don't know how you're on track when the timeline keeps changing.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna finish.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how you're on track when the timeline keeps changing. And we did have a WSSC presenter come out and talk about this project. I'm just noting that for the record. My question is, when they're out there on the road and things of that nature, what I have noticed is that there has been an increase in trash in the particular areas that they are working in. I have them come out and pick up trash in those areas as well. And the last time that our WSSD person came and presented on this project, over the previous time, he did know that he would talk to his crews about keeping the areas clean. And I would just like to kind of reiterate that, and also there to be some sort of thought going into where you place signage when you're allowing the cars to come in, because some of those signs are right in front of exit areas of neighborhoods, and people cannot see oncoming traffic going this way or that way because of where the signs are placed.
So ma'am, I have no idea. You said someone within the last 30 days told you?
No. We've had WSSC, this is the third time WSSC has been here. And we've had, the first time the date was August completion, then it changed to September.
Okay.
You're seeing.
So I can address that. When the project was in the design phase, it was anticipated to start a little bit sooner than it did. The length of the term of the project has never changed. I believe it started in March of 2022. I think we thought it was going to start in the fall of 2021, and we did have a meeting here. I actually was not present, although I'm almost present at all of them, but I was not present to that meeting. That would have been in the fall of 2021. So again, the timing of this project has not changed since it began in March of 2022. And I'm sorry if there's been confusing communication. With respect to the trash, I will absolutely speak to the crews again about that. I'm quite certain that they are probably not the only source of trash. I don't want to say that they don't litter. They're certainly not permitted to. We do have inspectors there. My direction to my staff is that I expect everybody to be treated like this is their own yard. And I have a staff of about 40, many of whom live here in the Clinton Temple Hills area. So I can't excuse that behavior. It may also have something to do with the fact that the equipment that's normally used to pick up trash in a roadway, road sweepers, things like that, is not getting the same access. We've certainly had issues with buses and things like that. I'm aware it's disruptive. But ma'am, I'd be glad to give you a card, like I said, and give you detailed answers to any questions that you have.
I have a question. It may not be possible to do a comparison, but could you, give us a location of another area in the county or in Montgomery County where you've done a similar project to this? Just curious, and the amount of time that is taken to do that project.
Sorry, I was trying to make eye contact with whoever was.
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yes.
So another location in Montgomery County or Prince George's County, I mean, to be honest, there are 48 active projects in my office right now that are just bid work, not work we're doing with State Highway or Prince George's County. There is a project on South Osborne Road, which is
A completed project.
a completed project where it's been done.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Greenbelt Road and 193.
Greenbelt Road and 193. There are many, ma'am. I
How
could
long
give
does
you.
it take now? Her question is, this mileage here, we said it's 1.6,
Oh.
how many miles versus how much time does it take? That's just the exact.
Yeah,
give her an
how much
example.
time did it take? And I'd actually like to see
You'd like to be able to drive where we've done the work?
yeah.
Yes. Could I answer that question afterwards? I need to give it some thought for a minute. I can absolutely give you some locations and they're all around here. Most of them tend to be in neighborhoods, not necessarily highly traveled roads. You may have seen 3 or 4 years ago, we laid 42-inch water main from Surratt's Road down Route 5 all the way to Brandywine. That was a $10 million 2-year project, but it wasn't in the roadway. It was in the embankment next to the roadway, so it was much less disruptive. But I will give you examples. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, yes.
So one of the things about timeline of projects and why some projects take longer than others, even though they might have the same linear footage, the same size of water main, is difficulties that we face during construction. Obviously, especially Allentown Road, that is commercial area. So there's only so much we can do during the daytime and the hours because we're trying to minimize disruptions to the commercial entities there. Some projects can take a long time. If we start digging and we find bad soil or rock that was not anticipated. So sometimes we might come in a meeting because what WSSC likes to do, engage the community early on. So in the planning stage, we would come and say, we anticipate that this project is going to take a year or 2 years. But that's only plan. Once we finish the design, we do another meeting and we come and give another update. By then, we might know a little bit more. So the timeline might change. So we're always trying to give you our best estimate at that moment. We really don't know, those estimates change. Now, with this project, we really, especially with Allentown, we're very confident that November is a good timeline because construction has been completed. We just need to test the water main right now. And we're waiting on the county to finish the sewer inlets and what's the storm drains, not the storm drain inlets. Once they finish that, we're going to start paving. So we're, very confident that for Allentown, November is a very realistic, and hopefully we'll push the contractor to finish a little bit earlier. But on different projects, we have different timelines, and sometimes, like I said, unpleasant surprises come up that can delay these projects. But we'll give you detailed examples afterwards.
Actually, I have one that just took me a minute to reset my mind. Brandywine Road from the Surratt's Road intersection all the way down to the junkyard by the Piscataway Creek is one that we completed just 2 or 3 years ago where we completely resurfaced the road. Old Fort down in Fort Washington. There are many of them. I've been here for 15 years and this is probably 100 projects that I've been a part of. So I'm sorry I couldn't do better list.
Yes, can you let us know who we contact
for liability claims without vehicles.
I have that number with me and I will give it to you back. You signed, you got it on the slide.
So file a
And
claim.
also, what is the time? Satisfied, because I had two damaged rims on my vehicle due to, the road construction on Allentown Road from, and you have several potholes from, as the young lady said, from Brinkley all the way to Temple Hills. It feels like a roller coaster.
Yes, ma'am, the number for claims is on the screen behind me. It's 301-206-7095. This actually reaches an office in our general counsel's office, and there's a staff there that basically will instruct us to do an investigation. We'll have to go back and take pictures and work with the contractor to see if it's related to work that we did or did not do. And then we present those findings back to the staff in the claims office. How long that takes to process, I honestly don't know. I wouldn't expect it to be more than a month or two. But if the contractor disputes that the damage that you have is related to work that we did, then we either have to overrule them and pay it or, you know, work something else out. It's not simple.
So WSPC is not working for Sedgwick Complaints Management?
Never heard of it.
Okay, because that's what, the girl's office is the information that they are giving out in reference to damage, vehicles.
Again, ma'am, I've been here 15 years. I've never heard of that company. We have our own claims office. It could be, again, there are storm drain work as well. So every pothole is not necessarily WSSC.
You know anything about that? Okay. It comes. Okay,
Yes.
he gonna.
Can I take a real quick?
I like.
So I was just gonna quickly say that if it's related to any other county road, then it would be Sedgwick. But if it's Allentown Road and it's overlapping with this WSSC project, it would be the different screen. So hopefully that clarifies, and feel free to give us a call. So we're happy to share that number with anybody here or not here, because I took a picture of this screen.
Are you working on, Lansing Drive West? Because there's a lot of digging on Lansing West.
So let me let WSSC get through theirs, and then I'll address anything related to Councilman Roberto. He's here as well.
Did she hear the response? Did she talked. Okay. Here, and then I'm going to the phone, I'm going to online. Cause, we have 3 minutes and 29 seconds left.
My concerns are a little bit about what the other young lady was talking about, conditions of Allentown Road. And November sounds like it's raining to me, because I live on Allentown Road and I drive every single day. My concern is just the effort that they put in around the potholes and around the metal
Plates.
plates and all that down there. Can they just do a better job kind of sealing around that? Because again, the intersection where Allentown and Brinkley intersect that, it literally does this. And I'm upset too. I have a 2008 Ford F-150 that I take very good care of. It feels like a 1998 that I'm driving because the stress that it puts on my vehicle. So if they could just do a better job, sealing around some of the bad spots there, because we understand construction's going on, there's gonna be over soon, but they just need to do a better job. Sealing around some of the places where they have to, try to put back together. Thank you.
So ma'am, I hear you. You know, I speak to them every day. They are aware that there are complaints every day. And I don't want to make excuses, but unfortunately, the road surface was not always level before we got there. When we try to put a steel plate down on a road surface that isn't level, it's almost impossible. And we are working to do something that's going to hold up as best we can. There is intense traffic pressure on Allentown Road, as I'm sure you know better than anybody. Those steel plates, when trucks and buses go over them too fast, too many times, over and over and over again, they rattle loose, or they're just not staying. And we are, I promise you, I will speak to them again tomorrow morning. We are trying to do our very best. This is a company that has done work all over this country, and believe it or not, they are very good. This is just an extraordinarily tough place to work. And we are trying to crank up the heat to get this, get out of there anywhere we can. And get you at least some portions of the roadway that are better. Again, when it's done, it will all be done curb to curb. But
Can you talk about that?
Okay,
What is the status of paving?
Okay.
Will it start the summer? And so it's not like nothing's gonna happen in November, right?
are we okay on time?
Yes, I wanted to get the questions from online. Can I ask you? Okay, I have 3, and then after that, we have to cut it off. Ms. Lundy, I'll tell you about Lance's Drive. I got some information from Mr. Phillips, think of Lance's Drive. Okay, first one, does the work you are doing have something to do with the recent transformer outage we've had? One of them exploded this morning and took all of the power out in the neighborhood. Does the open holes in the ground facilitate draining water to the power sources?
Do you have the location? I'm not aware.
Could you ask them, do they have the location? Okay, thank you. Okay, what are they doing for the intersection of Brinkley Road and Temple Hills due to the amount of flooding that takes place there?
Okay, so
That time is up.
the response to that question is that we are not responsible for the stormwater. That is a Prince George's County issue. However, we are all working in that roadway. And we are definitely coordinating with the county to make sure that the drainage is correct before the road is resurfaced. But during the construction phase, it's very difficult to make a temporary repair. To answer the question about the electric service, there was a dump truck that struck an electric power pole a week ago Wednesday at the end of Old Branch Avenue by the 7-Eleven and BK Miller's. That was us with an accident. It was fixed the next morning. There are no holes in the roadway draining water from power sources. I'm not aware of anything in the last 48 hours.
I say, what is with the yellow lines going to partial fire hydrants? Oh.
I would need clarification. I'd be happy to get my phone number to whoever this. person is.
Okay, again, we're gonna,
I don't know the partial fire hydrants.
okay, they say yellow lines going to a partial, okay. Last question, a portion of my cement driveway was dug up and replaced with asphalt. Will WSSC be repairing the driveway with cement?
Yes, at the end of the project, we will restore it into like condition or better condition. If it's a concrete driveway, we will put concrete back. If it was an asphalt driveway, there will be asphalt put back. We are doing temporary repairs to the roadway now. Temporary permanent repairs, but not permanent, as there will be a complete resurfacing.
Okay, about the first question, does the work you are doing have something to do with the recent transformer outage? They said the location for my question is right here in the 6900 block of Allentown Road, leading from Brinkley Road to Temple Hills Road.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you. We have to cut the questions off right there because we have to be obedient with our time. We're going to give you, so we're going to give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and then we're gonna have the Honorable Donnell Turner come up. We're gonna give him 5 minutes, and I'm gonna check. Y'all better take this food out of here. There's food in the bag. Y'all make sure y'all take the food out of here. So let's welcome our Councilman Barrows. We appreciate him. Come on over here.
Thank you very much. I know we are limited on time, so I'll be very, very quick. We'll follow the list. I want everyone to know that on May 28th, there will be a public hearing for the senior tax credit fix bill. We know that senior tax credit passed in 2022. 15,000 seniors who should have gotten it did not get it, and that is unacceptable. I see my neighbor here who means so much to me and my family, who called me and said, Edward, you better fix this. The bill fix is on May 28th. So please be there. Thank you, Sister Joy, for being there. I can tell you that before we voted So the bill voted out of committee unanimously. But 20 minutes before the meeting started, I was called into a room and I was told that the bill was gonna fail. That bill only passed because we had over 100 seniors there. So your presence, Sister Joy, President Taylor, made all the difference. I can tell you again, they're saying that the bill is not gonna move. The county executive is not in favor of this bill to reduce the property taxes by 20%. I'm letting you know that. We need everyone to come. And if we can pack the room, I think we'll be successful. May 28th, and we'll make sure we send you the details.
Yeah.
We all know about the curfew at the harbor, you know, we were having so many young people at the harbor, not only looting businesses, but hurting one another. And so we have an emergency bill to place a curfew at the harbor. We have a scholarship, so if you know any young person who is going off to school or not so young person, you know, we don't discriminate. Please contact my office, get the information, should be in the mail. We're giving out a lot of scholarship money. And I know that our delegates and senators are giving out scholarship money as well.
Email address?
My email address is borough's office, actually, sorry, Council District 8 at co.pg.nd.us.
Say it again.
Council District 8 at co.pg.nd.us. This weekend, we also launched other initiatives. I don't know if you all know this, but 20% of students in Prince George's County Public Schools, according to our health department, has contemplated suicide, 20%. And so we are doing a lot of mental health work at Crossland, Friendly, and Oxon Hill. And we're also doing it for adults as well. We have an event this Saturday, so please reach out to my office if you're interested in the mental health event. We also launched a program, I hope you got it in the mail. We have a lot of individuals in our district that's trying to build their credit. And so we have launched a credit builders program where you pay $44 a month. The county government pays $44 a month. We will report those on-time payments to the credit bureaus. And by the end of the year, we've seen people increase their credit scores by 70 points. You also get a financial advisor with the Financial Empowerment Center in the county. And every dollar you put in at the end, you get to keep. Every dollar we put in at the end, you get to keep. So you'll make $500 on your investment. I know I've gotten a lot of emails about the camera program. When we did that mailer, you got your camera? I'm happy to hear that. We've installed over 200 plus cameras. We have 800 more people left to install. We have a team of about 4 people. So we are making our way through the district, doing the best that we can. I was at the polls. I've been in polls every day, and I was happy, sad, but happy to hear that one of our cameras actually caught some young people, unfortunately, breaking into a car. And we were able to give that footage to the police. We found out who they were. They've been held accountable. But I'm happy that the cameras are working. So just wanted to give you that update. We also have a bill. As you all know, I've been heavily fixated on our MGM impact money. And we have a bill in right now to essentially allow us to use several million of that money to create a senior citizen support fund. We have seniors who call my office every day who can't get the utilities, mortgage, rental assistance, weatherization issues in their homes, basement flooding, and there's no mechanism that we have to support them. And so hopefully that bill will pass. And I will keep you posted on that. I definitely keep you, Madam President, posted on that. And I just want to say this one thing, because I know that the time is short. Don't want to be too controversial at this late hour, but it's important that we vote for our interests. I can tell you that when people announce that we build all these new schools, there are 8 schools in the P3 method, and I'm going to list them out. School 1 is Fairwood area, Bowie. School 2 is Spring Hill Lake Greenbelt. School 3 is James Duckworth Elementary, Beltsville. School 4 is Robert Cross, Hyattsville. Margaret Brent and Carroll Templeton Elementaries, Bladensburg. Hyattsville Elementary, it's in Hyattsville. And then Brandywine Elementary, Brandywine. Out of the 8 P3 schools that are being built, 7 are in the north. And only 1 is in the south. When you look at the new libraries that are being built, Hyattsville, Langley Park, when you look at the new big multi-gen centers that are being built, they're in the north. It is a fact that this part of town has not gotten our proper resources, our fair share from this county government. And so I understand everyone will do what they need to do and make their best informed choice for this election. But I think one of the issues that we've had is that we vote for people because we like them, regardless of whether they're delivering for us or not. And it's important that we vote for people who's going to bring resources to this part of town. I'm a selfish council member. Okay, my time is up. I've been cut off. I did want to recognize PJ's Coffee is in the room.
That's what I was going to.
Okay, I'm gonna let you.
He recognized, just to stand up.
Yes, yeah.
We have a new BJ's Coffee, you know where, restaurant road behind Ranch Avenue, Metro, you know where the restaurant, the new restaurant is called?
Apollo,
Telfair Boulevard.
and Telfair Restaurant Row Apollo.
Yeah, y'all know where that is, right? Okay, they will be opening in approximately, they're hoping in 2 weeks. 3 weeks, okay? Thank you for coming out, appreciate you. We gotta support our restaurants. We don't, come on up, come on up. We got the judge, here comes the judge, here comes the judge.
Minority owned, black owned, and retired disabled veteran owned. So please come out. PJ's Coffee of New Orleans. We will have coffee and beignets, energy drink and tea. And I know I'm loud. I'm sure everybody in this room probably heard me. But just to repeat, we are minority woman owned, black owned, retired disabled veteran owned. This is our first franchise. And we chose Camp Springs just because we love the area, we love the people, everyone has been so welcoming, so thank you. We are located on Telfair Boulevard, right across from the new immigration building, so we're in Restaurant Row Apollo. So please like our Facebook page, it's PJ's Telfair. We also are on Instagram. And you'll get some updates on when the restaurant is opening, but we're hoping sometime in the next 3 weeks. So please come out and see us. Thank you.
Okay. I've lost my voice. I lost my voice about 2 days ago. I've been at the polls for the past 8 days. I was asked to come here and talk a little bit about the judges, and talk a little bit about the selection process.
We can't, come on, Judge.
I'm sorry, I lost my voice.
Oh,
I was asked to come here and talk to you all a little bit about the judges and about the selection process for judges. I'm Donald Turner. I'm a circuit court judge for Georges County. I've been a judge for almost the past 2 years now, appointed by the governor in 2022. Just want to, I'm not going to talk about, since I only have 5 minutes, I'm not going to say anything about much about my personal background. I'll just say that I was raised in Prince George's County. My family moved from DC to Prince George's County when I was about 3 years old. And so this is home for me. I've lived in Prince George's County pretty much all my life. I grew up in Landover, went through Prince George's County Public Schools, also, and I graduated from Parkdale, graduated from the University of Maryland. And then I went to law school at the University of Virginia. The judges, I want to tell you a little bit about why the judges are on the ballot. There are 4 of us that are on the ballot. We were all appointed by the governor at some point in the last couple of years. The law says, Maryland's Constitution says that once you're appointed by the governor, you have to run in the next election cycle. So that's why you see all of us on the ballot.
This happens every 2 years. Every 2 years that a judge is appointed by the governor, they're on to the circuit court. It's only the circuit court. They're on the ballot. So that's why we're on the ballot. The law or our constitution also says that if you are 30 years old and you are licensed to practice in the state of Maryland, and you've lived in Prince George's County for the past 6 months, you can challenge a judge. You can pay $50 and get on the ballot, and that the voters vote you in. You can unseat a judge, and so that's why we're on the ballot. We have an opponent. We have a guy who is in his early 30s. He graduated from law school about 4 years ago. He passed the bar about 3 years ago, and so he is our opponent. I'm not gonna stand up here and start advocating for the judges. We do have a website. I don't want to turn this political or anything. We do have a website. It's keepyourjudgespgc.com. I would invite all of you to visit that website to learn more about the judges. I will say this as well. All of us, the four of us, it's myself, Denise Roll, Darren Johnson, and Cherie Simpkins. We all had at least 20 years of experience as lawyers before we became judges. I had about 30 years of experience myself before I was appointed to the bench. Our opponent he's been a lawyer for all 3 years. That's all I'm going to say. I'm happy to answer any questions about the selection process, but that pretty much is it in a nutshell. Again, I just wanted to come in. I only have 5 minutes, so I just wanted to come and explain the process to you. And I'm happy to take any questions if you all have any. And I'm sorry I lost my voice. And I'm also sorry I was told that I called earlier a couple hours ago and said I was going to be late because I've been down at Bach Road for the past 8 days. I was out there pretty much by myself, and so I apologize for being late. Any questions at all?
Good man, last name is Turner.
Thank you for coming out. We appreciate you. If you have any questions, we're gonna have to take them outside because I have to be obedient. Or we have to wrap it up. Love you all and happy appreciation to all of our teachers. Love you all. Next meeting, September the 12th. I want to thank Ms. Tara from her multimedia company, which I want to say Korea Multimedia, who does who records our meetings so that you all can see them on Facebook and on the website, right? Yes. So thank you. You know, they like to say you don't have to go home, but what you gotta do? You gotta get out of here. Love you all. Have a good night. Be safe. And take food. I'm getting ready to go out of town. Take food.
It's all your turn.
Yeah, darling.
Early.
How you doing? Yes,
I know me.
Okay.